Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of God, the most compassionate, the most merciful. How can something be brought into existence merely by commanding it to be? What kind of realm is the realm of existential command? I am Hassan Moradi, and this episode of Echoes of the Quran, I will explore these questions from the perspective of the Quran. In the previous video, we discussed how the Quran distinguishes the realm of command, ʿālam al-amr, from the realm of creations, ʿālam al-khalq. In this episode, we turn to the Quranic term malakūt. At the end of Surah Yā Sīn, the Quran first describes how God speaks or commands a thing into existence, and then states that the malakūt of all things is in His hands, and to Him then return. فَسُبْحَانَ الَّذِي بِيَدِهِ مَلَكُوتُ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ وَإِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. A similar idea appears again in Surah Al-Mu'minun, where the Quran adds that God can grant refuge and protection while no one can offer such protection against Him. قُلْ مَنْ بِيَدِهِ مَلَكُوتُ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ وَهُوَ يُجِيرُ وَلَا يُجَارُ عَلَيْهِ إِن كُنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. Both verses appear in the context of explaining how the return to the hereafter is possible. From these verses, we understand that possessing the malakūt of all things grants a power by which those things can be brought into existence repeatedly and without limitation. Thus, the malakūt of each thing corresponds to the realm of command which we discussed in earlier sessions. To clarify this idea, let me expand on an analogy from the previous video. There, I compared the realm of command or malakūt to the human mind. When the mind creates something within itself, it is actually descending from a higher level of its own being to a lower one. Let me now offer a more detailed analogy. Imagine the malakūt as the instruction booklet for a Lego set. If we possess the blueprint, we can build the Lego structure. Even if the structure is completely dismantled, we can rebuild it at any time. At the end of verse 83 of Surah Yā Sīn, the Quran speaks of the return of human beings to God. This return corresponds to the ascent of the realm of command and the things within it back to their source. When a Lego structure is destroyed, what happens to its design? In everyday language, we might say that the design returns to the instruction booklet. The two-dimensional plan in the booklet had descended into the three-dimensional pieces. When the structure collapsed, the design returned to its source. A more accurate analogy is that of a potter. The design of the pot exists in the potter's mind. When he shapes the clay, the mental design descends into the material. If the pot breaks and returns to the mere clay, the design, again in a figurative sense, returns to the potter's mind, and he can recreate it from the same clay or from new clay. The design and the potter are not two separate things. The design is simply a higher mode of the potter's own being. His mind contains the forms, and his hands transmit that form to the clay. This recalls Plato's idea of the demiurge, who shapes the material world according to the forms. But unlike Plato's triad forms, matter and demiurge or analogy involves only one agent with two levels. If we choose, we can bring this concept down into a lower level of imagination, giving it countless shapes and sizes. This analogy is precise because it involves one reality with three levels. 1, a higher level of the mind, the agent or source. 2, a lower conceptual level, the abstract forms. 3, a still lower imaginative level, the shaped sized image. When we describe this process in ordinary language, we use metaphors such as speaking or commanding. We say, if I will something to exist in my imagination, I tell it be, and it comes into being. But in truth, we are not speaking to the abstract forms. We are simply attending to it and willing it to appear. If this attention and will cease, the imagined object ceases as well. In everyday language, we might say that the object returns to its creator, the higher level of the mind. Elsewhere, it asks all human beings, do they not look at the malakūt of the heavens and the earth? أَوَلَمْ يَنْظُرُوا فِي مَلَكُوتِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. From these verses, we learn that seeing the malakūt is possible for all humans, but one must ascend in existential rank, becoming like Abraham, before this unveiling occurs. When Abraham witnessed this realm, he reached certainty about the return of all things to God and about God's absolute guardianship over everything. The Quran narrates how Abraham turned away from the setting stars, moon, and sun, declaring that he does not love things that fade. لَا أُحِبُّ الْآفِلِينَ. Instead, he turned toward the one who created the heavens and the earth without any pre-existing material or external blueprint. إِنِّي وَجَّهْتُ وَجْهِيَ لِلَّذِي فَطَرَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ حَنِيفًا. May we, like Abraham, reflect deeply on the world, recognize its fading nature, and be guided toward the non-fading reality, the ever-rising light of the heavens and the earth, so that he may elevate us to witness his malakūt. Thank you for being here.